Welcome to another episode of Studio B Sessions with me, Bindra, owner of Bindra Productions here in Orlando, Florida. This podcast is essentially raw, unedited, unfiltered conversations with other filmmakers and just something for entertainment, maybe education. And just like has been this whole season, we've got Mario on the producer desk helping us make this happen.
Hey guys, how are you today? Nice to see you again.
And well, a lot of them you may not be able to see because they're listening. Remember?
Well, nice for them to be hearing us.
Yeah, there you go. There you go. We've got a good, healthy mix, though. A lot of people, watch, but a lot of people also listen. And our guest today is Christopher.
Hey, what's up, everybody?
Video
Glad to be
business
here.
owner.
Yes.
And obviously, you've done all the other roles
Creative
that come with that.
extraordinaire.
Yeah, exactly.
Filmmaker,
Look at that.
Lover of movies and honestly storytelling. Yeah.
Look at that. Look at that. I couldn't have done better than you. But so welcome. Thank you for coming.
Thank you for letting me be here. This is a breath of fresh air being on this side of the camera. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, I know, right? It feels weird. That's why,
it
people
feels
don't
really
get
weird.
it. When we're used to being on the other side, directing people, or just whatever. We're not used to being on this side, so it's always just a little bit different. But I think the fun thing about this is we're just talking about what we talk about anyway. Because if you remember how we met, what's craziest thing is networking can be done in so many different ways. And for us, it was through ShareGrid of all places. And you wanted to rent some things. You had moved to Orlando, right? I think
I moved to Orlando in end of 2021.
Okay, so you'd been here a couple of years. You wanted to rent something. You came here, and then we instantly just connected, and we were chatting for a while.
Yeah.
And it's like, this could be an incredible conversation for people just here.
Exactly. And what was crazy is at the time that I met you was when I just started my video business. And I was even talking to you about one of my first potential clients, which has now become my main client. And
Look at that.
They're amazing. But yeah, I've worked in different aspects of the video industry, either as a freelancer or full-time, but I've never actually gone out and done the business myself as the owner. And it's been a year now. I celebrated my 1-year anniversary in April. And we're doing good. It's been tough and challenging, and I'm a little bit stubborn in some things, particularly learning the business side of things, which you've given me a lot of great advice with. There's still a lot that I have to learn, but honestly, trusting the process, trusting God, and just taking baby steps is a lot to learn, but I've learned a lot as well, so it's been good.
No, that's what it's about. You finding your own journey. A lot of people just, it's okay to find people in your life that you're like, oh, I like that. I like what they're doing. And you kind of can emulate that. But ultimately, it's your journey. It's your path. You have to navigate it to get to where you want to get to,
And that's hard because you see so many different kinds of people telling you how you should run your business, what kind of clients you should have, what kind of industry you should be in. So it's tough. You have all these different voices competing, telling you what you should do. But at the end of the day, I feel like you have to find your own way and what works for you.
And actually, you say that is why I wanted people to listen from so many different people. I've had people who just do wedding videography, who only do photography, who only do, social media content. There's no one single path to this, right? And we'll talk more about this, but there's a Hollywood path. There's so many different paths that you can try to go on. But the right thing to do is to listen to everyone. Right, and then do what resonates the most.
Take the meat, leave the bones.
Yeah, and obviously there's could be negativity there. As in, you listen to all these people and then you're like, nah. And I'm talking good people who know what they're doing. But then the other side of this is some people will go, nah, I just do what I want to do, and then they fail too. So that's one. You don't want to do that because. It's okay to admit that you don't know everything.
Yeah, I don't know everything.
Yeah, it's okay to not do something unique. See, and that's where the balance is. Why some people will fail and some people will succeed, and it's okay. It's life. Because if you're trying to do something unique, something different, if none of the people have done it, you're right. They're not going to understand. You have to try your own path. But there's a high likelihood what you think is unique may not actually be desired in the market or whatever, right? Or it could be something revolutionary and you make the best agency or video company in the world. So there's there's the thing of either you can listen to people who followed a path, these paths worked.
Right.
You can either combine them or follow the person that sounds the most like you, that
Right.
you want to do, or you can carve your own path from scratch. And there's a chance you could fail, but that's with anything in life, right? You have to first try it to see how it goes, but you never know what you come back with. It could be something incredible,
Right.
right? And what I love is the power of networking in our industry, because, like I said, I just met you and I was like, I saw the spark. I got excited, start talking about business, and then I was like, oh, you got to come to our networking event, and it was so awesome that you came, and then I was like, there you go.
Which was incredible. I met every single person there was so friendly. I learned so much. I love that you guys had sessions where you actually talk about how you run your businesses and different ways that we can help ourselves as budding entrepreneurs. But I also have had the opportunity to work with a handful of the guys in there, or just call people up and ask people for advice. So thank you for that. That's been incredibly helpful.
And like I said, the least I could do is like as simple as come to this event, And funny enough, you would be amazed how some friends I have who have never been to one of these networking events. I invited them a couple times, and I get it, schedule doesn't work or whatever, but they don't have that network. And then sometimes when the things get slow, they're like, oh, I want to come to one of the networking. I was like, I don't put these together. I can't control when the next one is. I'll let you know when the next one is. So, but there is huge power in that. Like you said, it could be other people hiring you, or you hiring other people, or you just being able to call people up and ask for advice, or just coffee or whatever. Man, it could mean anything, right?
And honestly, for me, where I was and where I still am at, it's just encouraging to be around other video business owners, other entrepreneurs who are actually doing it, and actually seeing their success and like, oh, this thing is possible. Because at the time, like I said, I was just starting out. And honestly, I was kind of like 50-50, like, I don't know if this thing's going to work out.
Yeah.
I think at the time I might have actually been applying for full-time jobs. And I think just being in that environment and seeing your guys' success and how passionate you are was encouragement to me to just like, no, I'm not gonna take these full-time jobs. Like, what is that? I want to live my life and have freedom and do what I love. So yeah, it really pushed me to just go for it and do it. And it's been going. It's been good so far.
Look at that. Look at that. Let's sort of rewind back a little bit.
Yeah.
I know you're one of the few people. You went on the, like you said, Hollywood path.
Yes.
How did that go? Tell people. So you went to film school, the whole Hollywood thing. Yeah, talk about that.
Yeah, I'm actually wearing my school here, Rochester Institute of Technology. RIT was the film school that I went to. It's called School of Film and Animation, SOFA for short. So, wow, this is a fun full circle moment. Here I am on a sofa talking about sofas. I loved my
That's
film
the exact
school
reason I
experience.
got a sofa.
Just for
Just
this
for the
moment.
moment, yeah,
I know
yeah.
it. I loved my film school experience. And I know a lot of people can kind of hate on film schools, and some are better than others. And it kind of depends too of like what you're actually looking to do with your career and with your life. But I think what film school taught me is the power of storytelling and how to tell great stories. Of course, they taught us a lot about production as well, which is like all vital information that you need to know, but not necessarily something that you can't learn being an intern for Bindra Productions,
Exactly. So what was your motivation? What did you actually want to do?
I wanted to be a Hollywood film director.
There you go. Okay.
Yes.
All right. So now we know what the vision is.
Yes. And that's what they encourage the students to do. They have other tracks as well that you can go on, but essentially their director track, you do everything. And then you make your thesis short film at the end of your 4 years there. Things might have changed since. But they had great professors from the industry. But of course, everything encouraged you to actually go out and do the Hollywood thing. There was a little talk of like, owning your own business, because there was one of the professors, the cinematography professor, he had his own video business. But most of it encouraged you to move out to LA.
So where is this school?
In Rochester, New York, upstate New York.
Okay, look at that. So you were in New York. So did you move to LA?
Yes. Immediately after I graduated, I moved to LA because, of course, everybody is chasing the dream. I actually moved out with friends who graduated with me.
Look at that. So you're a bunch of group. And that's the power to me of school, right? The networking. Again, you meet other people who want to do similar things. So you
I
banded
currently
together?
work with none of those people,
Yeah.
but
You never know. You never know who one of them may end up and
Yeah.
call you.
yeah.
So, but you bunched together and you essentially went to LA, right?
Yes, we moved to LA, and I kind of hated my entire experience.
LA
But
can be very very strong. I
yeah,
guess.
yeah, that hate is also a strong word. There were great parts of it. I learned a lot,
Mhm.
but in the end, it wasn't for me. I think the biggest reason for that is I just wasn't a fan of the culture, because it is a lot of what you hear. There is like a lot of fakeness and
Politics. Yeah.
two-faced, and everybody's trying to just
Mm.
get to the next thing and step over each other, which is a huge difference that I've found here in Orlando and
Mhm.
working with other video business owners. Like, it's very much like, hey, I want you to succeed. I know you want me to succeed. Like, how can we help each other out?
Mhm.
That's harder to find
Yeah,
in
but I
LA.
think even in LA you can find that, but not in the film side. If you
Right.
go, I've met amazing corporate video people in
Yeah.
California in general, but LA too. The reason being is our market is very different than the film market.
Right.
Film, there's only certain roles, right? So you have to. If you want to be on some movie, if you don't know the right people, then you're not getting on the movie. So
Right.
you'll do anything to get to know those
Exactly.
people or be on those
Exactly.
sets.
And that
So
would
it's like,
leads to
yeah.
just like a lot of just negative energy
Yeah.
and fake attitudes and personas, and everybody's just looking to get famous
Yeah.
one way or another. And sure, there's like there's a way that you can do it professionally and work professionally in the industry, but that takes a lot of time
Mhm.
and climbing up these ladders. And me being the stubborn 22, 23-year-old that I was like, I don't want to do that.
Mhm.
I don't want to PA for X amount of years just to be able to maybe eventually be a second AD and then eventually do this. And then maybe one day
Yeah.
someone will give me the budget to actually go and make an indie movie, maybe.
Yeah. But then have you seen the show Studio? But then they'll come and tell you, you got to make a Kool-Aid movie. That's the
Yeah.
only way that you get budget. And
Exactly.
whatever.
So
So it's-
every way that I thought around it, I was like, I feel like this just isn't it.
yeah. I love
Um,
that show, by the way. If you haven't had a chance, watch it. I think it's on Apple TV.
What
It's
is
called
it?
The Studio.
Okay.
It's really. Have you had a chance to watch it, Mario?
Yeah, with what's that guy's name? The actor
Seth Rogen.
Seth Rogen.
Yeah,
Yes.
Oh shoot.
It's so
okay.
good.
I
You gotta
watched
watch
really
it,
good.
man. I guess if somebody who's into film,
Right.
it's incredibly funny.
So it's kind of like an inside look into the industry.
but it's like kind of funny, but it's like kind of real. What makes it crazy is what's happening. You'd like, I guess if you're not in Philly, you'd be like, this is so crazy, but that's like legit real.
Yeah.
But it's just hilarious because that is exactly how Hollywood works.
Yep.
Anyway, like one of my favorite scenes in the show is like where they have a movie, they're making Kool-Aid movie, again, stupid. But then they have a cast that's incredible, but then they go, oh, this doesn't look racially diverse enough. So they spend a whole episode trying to put new actors in there, and then
Yeah.
it becomes actually racist because they
Oh, boy.
because they've changed character. Anyway, it was funny, but I was like, this is exactly how it works.
Yeah.
From the stories I've heard from people, I know.
Especially now, everything's so run by the studios and the producers.
Mhm.
There's not really a lot of original storytelling happening right now.
Yeah.
I believe that's going to change, and probably sooner
Yeah.
than later. Just because I think people are getting tired of all the same stuff that we see all the
Yeah.
time.
I mean, Hollywood is clearly declining. That's just what it is right now. Can it bounce back? Absolutely, because people do love movies.
Yeah.
Regular people love watching movies and seeing great stories. It's just currently what they're being told to that it's unrelatable, essentially, right? So hopefully, because I love movies, I love the whole experience. Obviously, that's what kind of started
Yeah.
the love. So I would love for this to
That
come
goosebump
back.
feeling that you get.
Yeah, when
And then
you-
to be able to produce something that
Yeah,
makes other people feel that
Yeah,
way,
exactly.
there's nothing like it.
But not a lot of movies can do that. But when you do, and my favorite thing is when you go to a movie theater and everyone just erupts in laughter
Yeah.
or applause or whatever,
Right,
which is
right.
natural. You know what I mean? Like it's another thing to enjoy that with hundreds of other people. I'm saying then just sitting in your home and
Yeah.
watching TV. Do I like that at home? Absolutely. Watching a TV show or whatever. Like I said, but that's not the experience of
No.
movies. And currently, people don't want to do that. I don't think they're making movies that make
No.
people want to go out and watch it. You
No,
know?
they're not,
Yeah.
unless you're a Marvel super fan.
Yeah, but even then,
Which
they're not
there are
making
plenty.
good movies. Because I remember watching too going to the Spider-Man, I think 4 or No Way Home, I think is the one.
Latest
going
one
to the
with the 3.
yeah,
Yeah.
whichever one the latest one was going to that, and then actually the theater was full, and there were moments in there that people enjoyed them, and the movies after them haven't had that. Like
Right.
I've even not wanted to go. I kind of want to see the Fantastic Four movie, but I'm saying outside of that, I haven't seen that many even superhero movies where you're like you want to go to the movie
Right.
theater because they're not making them at that level anymore. I
Right.
think it was like the End Game and I think Spider-Man, the last one, the two that I would say where you if you were a fan, you wanted to go to the theater.
Right.
Because outside them, you're like, okay, I'll just watch it when it comes on Disney Plus or whatever, right?
Right. I have a feeling they were like, hey, this is successful. Let's figure out how to do it and do it quick. And
Then keep
probably,
doing
yeah, and keep doing it. And probably somewhere along the lines, it stopped being passionate and just about the profit. And that's when things decline.
Exactly. And maybe they can bounce back, but if not, there'll always be something,
Right.
But yeah, so do you have any funny stories or something crazy where you were like, I gotta get out of here?
Not necessarily like working in the production side of the industry, but actually I have a funny story of interning for a producer, a very, very well-known producer in the film industry. She actually was a producer on Interstellar.
Oh, look at that.
And a couple of other Matthew McConaughey movies. And so I was interning in her office. I felt very out of place. I don't know why, but I felt like
because I don't get the LA vibes from you.
No.
So I get it. Yeah, so you probably
and I'm just not fitting in with the culture. She tried to talk to me a few times, and she was just like who even are you, and what do you want to do, and why are you even in my office? It was very much that attitude. And so the whole time that I was there, we were more so like her extended personal assistants. We would do some like office work and like some script reading and whatnot. But this whole time we were trying to coordinate this mirror that she had bought. And of course she owns this beautiful house in the hills. And every single week there was an update on the mirror. It either got lost in shipping or something happened and we had to troubleshoot it and figure it out. So the mirror finally arrives. This is towards the end of my internship after like 2 months. And they tell me to go meet the delivery people at her home and to put it in her house. And so I'm like, okay. So I drive up to her house in the hills and they deliver it. They set it down. And I think they put it like in the front hallway. And so her actual personal assistant calls me up and says, hey, can you put it up in her bedroom where it's eventually going to go? So I'm like, yeah, sure. So it's covered with a blanket. I go and put my hands on the top of it. It's covered in a blanket. I pull it up. All I hear is crack.
Oh.
And this is something, I don't know how much money she spent on it, but it must be a lot.
Yeah, because if you're cracking it week over week, it seems like.
Yeah, and coordinating this thing over 2 months. And so at that point, I literally thought my life was over.
Yeah. So it wasn't your fault, though. I mean, all you did was try to do what they told you, which was to move it. It seems it was fragile. Did it have a big fragile written on it?
Being 21, 22-year-old in Hollywood, this is what I feel like is my big break with a big time Hollywood producer. I thought my life was over.
Yeah.
And the blacklist is a real thing. I'm like, she's going to blacklist me. I'm never going to be able to work in this industry. Like, I'm never going to be able to like keep living here in LA. It's just not going to happen. And so literally in that moment, time stopped and I was like, my life is over. Like, I have to give up on all of my dreams.
Or what do you think about super glue?
Right. I can't remember what we actually did. I think we might have done that later. So anyway, there was a maid that was there and she was kind of helping me and she kind of saw it, but she just pretended like nothing happened.
Yeah.
And so I just put it where it needed to be and I start driving home. I actually call my mom first. I'm pretty sure like I'm crying on the phone to my mom. I just broke this big time Hollywood producer's mirror that she has been trying to coordinate for the last 2 months. She already doesn't like me. I'm going to be blacklisted. I'm never going to work in this industry again. And so then I call up the personal assistant and I tell her the truth.
Yeah.
And she was like, all right, go back and just like see what you can do to make it look like, it's not broken. So I think I did, like, I kind of like put it back together and just kind of left it there. And I think we did eventually send somebody to like super glue it back together, and they hung it up without her, the producer, ever being there. And I don't think she ever found out that I broke her possibly $100,000 mirror.
To me, what's crazy is that you can break a mirror that easy, where all you try to do is lift it, and
Well, you know what?
crack
I
it.
honestly think that she got scammed with buying this mirror.
Yeah.
Because it was like, I don't know what you call it, but it was kind of like a fiberglassy, almost like foamy material. It wasn't foam, but it was something that was like, this is not wood. It was something that was made to look like wood. So I think she got scammed on what she was buying, and it was actually a cheap product, but she doesn't know.
Yeah, like I say, if it broke that easy, it has to be. So unless it's some fancy, again, designer stuff, you never know. I mean, they'll sell toilet paper roll for a lot of money.
Who knows? So. But this mirror was the topic of discussion for those 2 months
that's so crazy. What I find, and this is why I'm like, I'm like, you have to intern with the right people, because sure, you were interning with this amazing producer, and like trying to get your Hollywood track going.
Right.
But then I'm like, you're coordinating her mirror. How's that relevant to Hollywood?
No,
right?
It wasn't.
And that's what I'm saying. A lot of people take advantage of people who are interning.
And nobody that I interned with, there were at least 4 other interns. I don't think any of them are working in the film industry.
See, that's So it's crazy to me, because what I assume is like, if you intern somewhere, then you're gonna learn. Sure, I get it. Like, you may be doing menial tasks, but at the end of the day, you're still learning the next step. I'm coordinating a mirror, to me, is not the next step to anything Hollywood. But anyway, that's the life there. The thing is, I realized very quickly that I was like, I'm not gonna do any of the film industry route, because I enjoy TV more. I enjoyed, but I was like, also, I don't want to do this whole political thing. What I hate is like being fake.
Yes.
That's just not my thing. And that's just what you have to do. And it's okay if that's what you want to do. Look,
there are people that are
making
built for
movies is awesome. Right. I don't want to say making movies is not awesome. It's just there's a lot that goes to get on those sets and make those movies. And that is the part I don't like.
Right.
But if somebody's listening and that's all they want to do, then they should do it.
Yeah.
I don't think I want to discourage anyone to not make movies, obviously. But it is not an easy path. And like I said, making movies is the easy part. Getting to make the movies is the hard part.
Yeah, getting the budgets.
or even just being on the sets. Like you said, it just takes a lot to get on a set of a movie that you really want to be, or with the producer, director, whatever that you want to be. And like you say, even just being on PA on these can take apparently years to,
Right. I never
get
actually
to know the right people.
I never actually made it to an actual film set, but I did make it to pre-production rehearsals for the movie with, I can't believe I forgot her name. It was one of Protozoa Pictures. This is terrible. Mother. That movie Mother with what's her name?
Oh yeah, Jennifer Lawrence.
Jennifer Lawrence.
That movie was interesting too. I was just like, what?
I actually never saw it.
Oh yeah,
I never saw it.
It's crazy.
See, I like movies and art. Like, Christopher Nolan, Interstellar, beautiful. Wow. Mother, I was like, what? I don't know. I'm not a fan. I'm sure somebody is watching. It's like, what are you talking about? It's the best movie ever. And that's the thing about.
But Mario
movies,
liked it. You liked it.
I don't know if I like it or not.
Okay.
For me, it was an interesting thing to watch. I don't know if I'll watch it again.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's a crazy movie.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah. So I think the reason I didn't actually watch the movies that I was sort of involved with is sort of because I was like traumatized by these experiences.
Yeah, I totally get you.
Working in these offices as an intern. And I think the reason why I went that route instead of trying to get immediately on set production is at the time I wasn't really a fan of production. Like I wanted to make movies, and I was told the way to do that is either get on a producer's good side or a director's good side, or you have to go out and make the movie yourself. And honestly, if now, this is like 8 years later, I think if you want to be a good Hollywood director, if you want to be a good Hollywood producer, you have to go out and make the movie yourself with however you can do it. You can't rely on
Yeah.
other people to do that.
No, that's my entire point. If you want to make movies, go make movies. You
Yeah.
know, grab all your friends from school
Yep.
and just figure it out.
Yeah.
And yes, will your first movie be the greatest
Terrible.
movie ever? No, but you know you can make
Yeah.
incredible things together,
can.
and that's I think way easier to get noticed. Because like I said, at the end, what are you looking for? Right? It's a director. You're looking for a
Yeah.
budget. You're looking to make something incredible, a good script. If
Right.
you don't have it,
Are we gonna make
You
a
know,
movie?
I
Vipul?
mean, I'm making a movie. You know about
You
my
are?
movie? Yeah,
I
we're
didn't know
making a
that.
movie, right? Mario's writing it, or he's
what?
already written it.
Okay.
Yeah,
Well,
I don't know.
We have to get back to it, but yeah, we're
Yeah,
doing it.
We're doing it.
Okay.
I've realized. See, this is what I'm saying. I've realized making a movie from scratch takes a really long
Yeah.
time. So that's what kind of I've what do you call? It was a reality check for me because
Yeah.
I was like, you know. Here's the thing. It's not like I don't like making movies. I've been DP on many movies. I've helped make a lot of movies,
Yeah.
but that's just not my passion. My passion is to make commercials or
Right.
corporate videos or whatever, right? Or even TV. I'd like that more to make, not that I don't enjoy movies. So anyway, but I was like, if I'm gonna make a movie, it's gonna be like my style. So I came up with this really cool movie in my head, or at least to me, it's cool, right? Anyway, and I was like, now, but I'm not a writer. I don't want to write it. So that's where Mario and I got connected initially, and I was like. Because I'd DP'd on a movie he was an AD on, and I was like talking about. I was like, "Oh, I can write," and then so I basically one day we met, and I just blurted it out to him like what was in
Yeah.
my head, and I was like, "This is what I want to do,"
Awesome.
and then
Oh,
he wrote it. And,
About that, remember we needed somebody
yeah,
to
I have
to
somebody
to,
too. I have
to
a
check the
dialogue
script.
writer. Yeah,
Really?
uh-huh.
Yeah,
I
we
gotta
have to go
tell
back to
you
that.
about her. Yeah,
Awesome.
exactly. Yeah, see, so like we
Oh,
already have
well, yeah, we'll have to
a
talk
movie
after
meeting.
this.
Yes,
I'd like to see
exactly.
if
Are
I
you
can get
a
involved.
writer, Christopher?
I can write.
Yeah.
You can write.
So
Yeah.
basically,
Well,
the stage we're at.
I write my client scripts,
Look at that. I mean,
and they love them.
yeah.
A
So
little help from AI,
yeah,
but
there you go.
just a little.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. We should just throw in chat, be like, make it Hollywood.
Right.
My entire point was, so I was like, if I'm gonna make a movie, right? Obviously, it's gonna be an indie movie. There's no budget behind it, but I'm gonna make it the best looking movie.
Yeah.
Because a lot of indie movies, you can immediately look and be like, indie movie, right? It's very obvious. It's because the resources were very limited. They're using cheaper cameras, cheaper audio. Cheaper.
But right now, everybody loves that.
Yeah.
It's the look.
But see, here's the opposite thing. I'm like, I have the equipment.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna make it look like the best looking indie movie ever. I don't, but now I want to make sure that the script that we're writing is
Right.
good, because that's why people would watch it.
Exactly.
The storytelling, not because
And that's what
you
they
know.
say in film school. Is like, if your script sucks,
Yeah.
your movie sucks.
Exactly. So
if it's a
that's
great
where-
script, no matter how bad
yeah,
it looks, people are still gonna enjoy it.
exactly. So what we want to do is kind of now refine the dialogue, make the script tight.
Yeah.
It'd be, if I'm gonna make a movie, let's say Netflix ready is the word. Let's say
Right.
that I want to have the script be Netflix ready, and that's not there yet. But yes, we are making a movie. We will, and I would
Okay.
absolutely call you.
Yeah.
It's going to be a really fun movie. I think the story is incredible. We've talked about it. If anyone wants to know more, watch Mario's episode from last
Okay.
season. We go into detail about the movie. But yeah, no, very excited about it. But like I said, not typically a movie director, but can I make a movie? Yes. And are we going to? Yes. The only thing I don't like is how slow the timeline's moving. But like I said, it's outside my control. I can
Right.
direct and DP it very fast. I need to have a script that's, like there. And
Right.
I currently am like, this is good. This is not good enough to,
Yeah. We'll get it there.
be
That's the
yeah,
process. It takes
exactly.
a long time.
Exactly. And that's
Yeah.
the process, right? Like you said. So anyway, but yes, I will eventually make a movie, but I don't mind sometimes, again, that's not my number one thing I do, but I don't mind sometimes DPing
Yeah.
other people's movie or helping them any way I can. Cuz it's not like I don't have a passion for filmmaking. It's just I have a passion more for other stuff, so
Right.
I tend to do that more. But anyway, but that's good to know about your Hollywood adventure.
Yeah.
So you packed your bags. How'd you make Rochester to LA? How did you
Yes.
end up in Orlando?
So I didn't give up on the dream quite so soon. Obviously I needed to make money, but honestly, what was preventing me from just like getting PA jobs on film shoots was I knew nothing about coffee, which is crazy because now I love coffee.
Yeah.
I know everything about coffee, but at the time I didn't drink it. I knew nothing about it. And someone had told me like, if you PA, you have to know how to make coffee. And I didn't. So I just I didn't
Yeah,
I didn't go for PA jobs. I just didn't do
like,
it.
I can't be a PA. I don't know how to make coffee. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
But the one thing that I knew was my way around Premiere Pro. And so I just started applying for like random editing jobs.
Mhm.
I eventually got one as a freelancer, like basically a permalancer for what is, they're still around. LiveMe. Have you ever heard of LiveMe? So
No.
before TikTok Live, there was LiveMe. And
Okay.
all this live, like social live stuff, that all started in China. Funny enough, this is insider information. The reason all that started and why going live became popular on social platforms, or even just in general, is because over in Asian countries, it's a lot less common for men and women to interact on a daily basis.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
these women started to stream, and they would just get tons of men coming in. And it's not even sexual.
Yeah.
I
It's
mean,
just-
maybe some of it is,
Yeah.
but most of it is like purely platonic. But just because there isn't that normal interaction, this industry just like blew up.
That's crazy to think about.
Yeah. And so that's how it kind of caught on over here. These Chinese companies started bringing over their tech and their platforms over here. And so I was honestly, they weren't a startup because in China, like they had already been doing great things. But they were kind of like a startup in the US. And it was going well for them. And, of course, I was just editing their social media content, maybe a couple ads here and there, really just getting my editing chops down. Where was I going to go with that? But what's funny is, I don't know how it all worked behind the scenes, but obviously TikTok caught on to LiveMe's success and they kind of perfected it. And, now they're the leaders in it. I don't think LiveMe really has much.
Okay. Yeah, no, I didn't know about LiveMe, but even TikTok came out of nowhere, It was kind of like you could ignore it. It was just like everywhere when it became popular. So it's like, okay, I can't ignore this anymore. So I probably just ignored if I even heard about LiveMe, because I feel like initially, and this is obviously people know about it, I've changed my stance. Initially, I was just like one of those filmmakers. I was like, nope. You turn your phone, landscape. Like, we're not watching vertical content over here. What blasphemy.
I've come around.
But now I'm like, after years, I was just like, yeah, this ain't going back. After TikTok became popular, I was like, nope.
Yeah.
The way it's here to stay is vertical video is a thing. And as a filmmaker, part of what we have to do is evolve.
Mhm.
And so I felt like I had to evolve and just accept that, this is a thing. The clients are paying us money to make this thing, so we better make it amazing, right? Instead of me fighting like, no, we got to make landscape. People can turn their phones. It's just people don't want to turn their phones.
Yeah.
They will if they're watching long form YouTube or Netflix or something like that. It's so crazy to me how human brains work. You're like watching Netflix, you automatically put your phone aside. You open TikTok, Facebook, YouTube, not YouTube, well, YouTube Shorts, but Instagram, you are not turning your phone, side. And I don't get it. I
think because people relate horizontal to long form content.
Yeah.
So like, I don't want something long. I just want my quick fix and be done.
Yeah, you want the addiction, right? Of the swipe.
Yeah, exactly.
I wonder how many people's thumbs are gonna need surgery in 10 years because.
I have my own addictions now. This is something we're working through.
Yeah. Oh my
because
goodness.
I need to spend more time working on my business and not scrolling.
Not scrolling. Yeah. No, but it's called. It's actually designed in the algorithm. Every time you stop, it literally analyzes.
Wow.
And tries to next time make you not want to do that. It's because that's where the money's at, right? They just want you to consume. And they'll do algorithmically. I'm not saying and again, a lot of people see this and they go, there's some one person in Facebook going like, keep watching Instagram Reels. It's not that. It's just the algorithm is designed and they keep tweaking it, obviously, to make it, you keep doom scrolling.
Yeah.
This is the algorithm. And it's learning. It's designed to learn your pattern and your behavior and show you the content that you want to watch. And a lot of things to me is crazy is these companies will say they're not listening to your microphones. They clearly are. How many times I've been on the dining table eating or whatever, and I'll say something like, oh, we need to get this. And I literally open my phone. Yeah. It's right there.
The exact thing.
Yeah. So the phones are listening to you at all times, even though a lot of these companies say they're not. Because clearly when, you did not search for something, you talked about it, you open your phone and it's right there.
Right.
So
and whatever
Yeah.
the learning software in there is just so incredibly advanced because even I mean, sure, all the video business owners out there, we get ads for that kind of stuff all the time.
Yeah, it's like and it's so cringy to watch
It
a lot
is.
of it. Yeah,
It is. And they're all telling me stuff that I don't want to hear
Yeah.
and making me feel bad about myself. Does your video business suck?
So coming back to Orlando. So how did you get to Orlando? So you were editing.
Yes. Okay. So I was editing for this live streaming company, just doing my thing, hoping there would be a break at some point. Some coworkers that I worked with there went off to a creative agency. So that started. So I had this whole maybe like 3-4 year stint of working for creative agencies. So they recommended me. I got in with one of them out in LA. And even after I moved to Orlando, I was still working remotely for different advertising agencies. There's a bunch of different ways you could call them: marketing agencies, creative agencies, advertising agencies. All of them do different things, have different kinds of clients, work in different aspects of the industry, but ultimately they provide creative and marketing and advertising for their clients. And usually they're big time clients like, Netflix, Disney, Nike, whatever would be these big corporations. They're taking all the big business from us.
I mean,
guys.
I like to partner with them. See, I think that's where the other side, a lot of people could say, they're taking our business, which, I mean, they are the video side at least. So you can go and fight about it, or you could start one of those agencies. That's another way. Yeah. Or the other thing I say is, sounds like a plan. You guys take the advertising part of it, the alt part of it. How about I do the video production part of it?
Exactly.
Let's do a partnership. And I'm willing to even do it because, I get it. It's a filmmaker thing again. You have a complex of credit. I know a lot of people who do this. They want the awards. They want the credit. Like, they want to tell everyone, look, I did this commercial. I genuinely don't have that. And I think that's also helped me. Because I'll go to these agencies and I'll do this white label. Like, I'll put on your shirt. So for that day, we are your video production department. We'll work with your team. Right. Because they usually do the creative.
With production companies all the time. Exactly. They usually don't have in-house production people.
So it's like, for me, it's like, yes, are we getting just a very small chunk than we should be getting? They're keeping majority of the chunk for doing the creative. But then at the end, like I said, if I want access to these big commercials, you just have to say that's just the route. So at the end, I just have really good agency partners where I'll go and just make the commercial for them.
I'm still trying to convince my former contacts to use me as a production company. They're coming around to it. So, I think something will break eventually.
Yeah, you just got to keep building that relationship. That's what it's about, right?
They're watching. Yeah. They're watching. They're seeing what I'm doing, and every now and then they'll be like, "Hey, like, look at that. That you're doing this thing on your own now."
Yeah. Like, there you go. And those connects are worth everything. Yeah. Because if you're not even in the running, it doesn't matter how good you are. You want to be in the running to get one of those. And then you want to do your best, obviously, on that. That's how, you can keep growing and keep getting more. But that's, again, it's if you want it. I've talked to so many people, even making big commercials isn't for everyone. Because a lot of people think big money. The thing is, by the time a brand has picked a number, right, agency is going to take their huge cut. Then by the time you get a production budget, and that's if even they hire you as total company. A lot of time they'll even break down, just hire you as a role. So let's say they even hire you, they partner with you, you're the production company. Then by the time you are done hiring people and equipment, it may not be a lot of money left.
It's probably not.
Yeah, it's usually like 40% if you're really lucky. 20 is pretty normal. 20 to 40, let's say, it would be the range. So that's not a lot of money left. No. You can make way more money doing these $3,000 to $10,000 jobs for local businesses.
And you get to decide how much you're profiting.
Exactly. Yeah. And if you do smartly, obviously, there's a cheap way to do it. Don't do that because that's how you don't get repeat clients. Right. But if you do it smartly, you can make more profit, I'm saying. It's easier to pull a 40, 50% profit, I'm saying. If maybe even more if you're cutting corners, I'm saying, on that side than it is on commercial side. Yeah. So,
which I have a funny story to talk about profit. But hold on, we gotta get the
no. Tell about it before you forget. We can circle back. Yeah.
All right. So the client that we've been talking about, I'm not going to name them, and hopefully they don't watch this. If they do, whatever, they love me. Yeah. The first job that I did with them, I had been doing this mentality when it comes to payment of the 50 upfront and 50 on completion. I don't know how you do that, but I quickly realized on larger budget projects that does not work.
No. Yeah.
Not at all.
Yeah.
And so now I've just been asking for everything up front because I need to spend that money.
Yeah, exactly.
I need to spend it on the production. And so I was forced to work with half.
Yeah. And now you're like, how do I make this happen?
And I'm also at the time I'm just working month to month, like paycheck to paycheck. So I'm like, there's nothing left over that I can put into this. So I was forced to work with half of the paycheck, and it was really difficult.
Yeah.
But I made it happen. And afterwards I was like, oh, I'm never doing that again. Like, I'm not gonna just use 50%. Like, I'm gonna spend 80%, and then I'll keep 20. I did that, and that was also great. But now I'm like, you know what? I did it for 50, and I think if I get my systems down, get organized, really get better at pre-production, I think I can get it closer to, 50% profit.
Yeah, you never know.
40, 30, but
and it also depends on the project that you're doing. You know, it depends on what you're doing. A lot of time, if it's like something very simple, and again, what I mean by is like where the costs aren't that high,
right?
So each project is different too. Sometimes I'll take projects where we go overboard, and we want to. It's not the client's asking us, because I'm like, oh, this is a really cool project, so I'll just overspend a little, because like you said, I'm the company owner. I get to decide what I want to do, and it's a choice I'm making, because we have projects where it's just a talking head. We're doing some reels. I can easily make a lot more profit there. So I'm like, okay, so, and that's the balance of it, right? It's like, as a company, we try to make 20%, revenue, or not revenue, or profit out of the revenue, after all expenses are paid. But that's, averaged out. So there will be projects that we can make a lot more, and there'll be some where I'm willing to even cut, very close. Yeah.
If you are passionate about video, you're passionate about storytelling, you're gonna naturally want to spend a little bit more to make not only a great product for your client, but be like, hey, this is my brand. Like, I tell great stories, and I'm not going to cut corners.
Exactly. And it's not every project. Like you said, it's selective. But yes, talk about pricing. My strategy initially was, like you said, you start out when you're freelancing, you obviously realize a lot of people want to do net 30, net 60, net 90. And then I was like, first of all, I like net 1. I like, if I do the shoot today, I get paid tomorrow or something like that. Because I get it same day you're leaving at night, people don't have time to pay you. That was my freelancer thing. But, not all jobs were like that. So it's like, first of all, that's interesting. But then 2, when I was like, okay, when I start my company, I'm going to charge 50% up front and 50% at completion. So I can pay my freelancers, because I wanted to treat people how I wanted to be treated immediately. Like, hey, I'll sell you the money, or I'll write you a check right now if they need paper check. I don't do that. I try not to do that. But some people still want a check. But what I'm saying is, that's how I approached it. And I was like, okay, so 50 will be for production, pre-production, production. And the remaining 50, 30 will be for post, and 20 will be for me, if that makes sense. Yeah. It was very easy. So that was like you said, it didn't go overboard, because post-production would be paid after the client paid the final thing. Because, revisions are done, and they have to pay before they get the files. It worked for, like I said, initial company. When you start new, first year, I think it was a very good plan. But then I quickly realized, like you said, as the projects go above the 10, 20, 30K range, you need more production money, because it's easier when it's like a 5K, let's say, project to divide. You're like, I can do 2,500 production. I can pay, $1,000 post production. The rest can be profit, something like that. I'm just saying. But when you're at 50 grand, a lot of time production may be 30 grand. I'm just saying. And so, or sometimes even 30 grand. Post production may not be that complicated or whatever. It just maybe you needed to do either spend more per day, or you had just so many days or something like that. And that's where I was like, oh, I'm not going to self-fund it. And I didn't like it where sometimes in the beginning I had to be like, okay, guys, I'll pay you, in a little bit or whatever. Sure, they were friends, but that's just not the way to do it, And I was like, that's not cool. They're not a production company. They're a freelancer. They shouldn't have to wait on my paycheck. Yeah. So anyway, so I came up with initially a tiered system, which was, again, 50-50 for less than, let's say, 15K projects. Anything over that, we're going to do a tiered system. You're going to pay me 50 upfront at signing, 25% before shoot, 25% at, post-production. But now I just do 100%. It's
Yeah.
very simple. If you're
It's-
an existing client, I'll still do 50-50. That's okay because
Mm.
you've known me for years. I don't want to hassle them, but I've kept it very simple. I basically do that for old clients, but new clients, it's just 100%
Yeah.
upfront. And sometimes you can do split it, but I'll say, okay, you can deposit, like do a 50% to book it, and then the other 50% due before the shoot, if that makes sense.
Right.
But I ideally want before the shoot the 100% of the money,
Right.
so I can spend the money. Like you
And
said,
in
yeah.
my short experience, I've noticed that clients are actually happy with that.
Yeah.
It's easier for their financial departments.
Mm-hmm.
And if they already like you and trust you, it's not a difficult decision for them.
Yeah, because I mean, if you have a working relationship, then they get it, and you know,
Yeah.
at the end of the day, it's not like again we're trying to take the money. Again, good production company, I get it. There's some, people who are like, oh, I'll take all of it. Let me hire a couple of students, and then you're done. But that's a short term, look at
Right.
it, right? But most time, at least for me, we're spending the money back, and I have. My contractors, my subcontractors pay for it, and I want them to have a good
Yes.
experience. I
And
want
they
to pay
keep
them
them
within
coming
a day or
back
two. Yeah,
to work with
exactly.
you rather than somebody else.
Yeah.
Or a company.
Yeah, exactly. So that's the way I treat, and like I said, I treat people how I want to be treated.
Mhm.
And the only way I can do that is by having money up front.
Right.
Because costs are more than
right there with
50%.
you. Yep.
But there's creative ways to do it. The only one I don't like is any net anything. I don't like doing net 30, net 60. And now I get it. There's some clients who only do net 30,
Yeah.
net 60. So I've accepted that those are not my clients, unfortunately. How cool the project may be, I'm just like,
Oh,
not
wow.
for me.
That's the deal breaker.
yeah, unfortunately, I just don't want to do it.
Even if it's like a 50K plus project.
Yeah, but are you gonna spend
Wow.
40K out of pocket and wait for 60 days to get
I
paid?
guess not.
Are you
Yeah.
gonna finance it?
Yeah, you're right. Yeah.
I'm not a bank.
Right.
I mean, being real with you, and that's okay. Again, I have friends who do net 30,
Yeah.
net 60, net 90 projects, and they're happy with that.
Yeah.
But I've also heard horror stories of clients not paying. I'm saying there's all sides of coin.
Right.
So
I didn't even think about that.
I don't want to discount like that. There are companies that have financial procedures that are that like it
Mhm.
is what it is. It's just my thing is I don't want to be the bank. I don't want to finance anything. I'm your producer, right? Then I'm on set, your director. So, but as a producer, when you initially hired me, my job is to look at the budget and spend it most efficiently, right, without wasting anything, because I am on their side. So I don't want to finance anything because guess what? Even as I've been doing this for a while. That doesn't mean I've got a bank here, or that Bindra bank
Right.
that I can just go in. All right, 50K project. Let me pull 20K right
Can
today.
you
for
take equity
production.
in all your equipment?
Yeah, I know, right? And so I'm like, who's paying that interest now?
Yeah.
I already have a low profit, so I can't cut into that. So anyway, they're not for me, like I said, but that doesn't mean they're not for everyone.
Right.
But I don't do it.
Yeah.
You're open to it?
No.
There
Probably
you go.
not.
Yeah.
Especially not at this point.
Yeah.
Because you're right. If there was a situation where either they weren't happy or whatever, they didn't want to pay, then I'm totally out of a business.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm drained of everything.
Yeah, and because you probably would have financed by your credit card or
Yeah.
or family or friends or whatever.
Yeah.
At that point, I don't want that. I don't
No.
want that over my head anyway. And even now, we're sure we may have sometimes a couple of, let's say, $50,000 projects happening. I could pull from here, but again, I don't want to do commingling between two projects. I just do it like, this is the project, this is the money I can spend. Let me spend more, or
Right.
spend me
Right.
here or whatever. I don't want to pull from here. Then it's like I can't pay for this one or whatever. You
Yeah.
get the point. So yeah, but that's a very good question. A lot of people don't want to talk about pricing, but I think it's very important to be able to understand how you charge. There's not a set rule, but like I said, I've tried both ways, and I find the bigger the number, the easier the client pays.
Mm-hmm.
So most of my big numbers, clients just wire the money.
Yeah.
I send them an invoice. They wire me the whole money. We never even have the 50-50 discussion, if that makes sense. The only time I have a 50-50 discussion is when the project is, the client doesn't want to spend as much or whatever. And that's what I'm saying. It's already starting out in the negative anyway. And it's okay to help small businesses. I don't mind that. But then it has to be where I can manage the project in the 50. Or otherwise, what's the point of taking it? Yeah, right.
Yeah. Yeah. I've had the same experiences so far.
Yeah. So how'd you get to production company owner? So you're in Orlando.
Yeah. So I'm in Orlando. I'm working as an editor for these agencies. COVID hits. I lose all my work. Still living out in LA, and a bunch of things happened, but I decided to move home. I eventually start working for this other agency remotely, this time as an art director instead of an editor. And at this point too, I'd been like fed up with editing for these agencies. And actually what's kind of cool is I became known in this like kind of LA agency circle as like the editor who fixes things.
Okay.
So if something was bad or didn't go as intended and they're like, we have to deliver this project to the client and it has to be good, but we don't know what to do, they would call me.
Okay.
And I hated that, honestly.
Yeah,
like
you
nobody
didn't like
wants to
Yeah.
be handed garbage and be like, here, make it a diamond.
Yeah. But hey, that's a talent though. If
Yeah,
you can turn
it is.
garbage into gold. I mean,
Yes.
that's skill. Yeah.
Yeah. So it was great financially for a while there, but like it was really like just weighing on my soul. Like I just, I don't want to work on bad projects anymore. I just don't want to do it. And so I had been trying to push myself more into this director role, like working more in the pre-production side of things. And one company decided to hire me. I just, someone saw my resume and they had a conversation with me and they just thought that was cool and that I kind of understood their vision. And so they decided to give me a shot. And so art directors do 100 kinds of different things in agencies, but some agencies will hire video art directors, and essentially that person is in charge of helping with the concept, assisting the creative director come up with the concept for whatever the video campaign is going to be, help them create visuals to either pitch projects or almost like storyboarding for the client, like helping the client understand what we're doing for them, what the overall vision is. And so there were some things that I got to actually put in my 2 cents of like, hey, what should the ad actually look like or be? But mostly I'm just assisting the creative director in doing that. And it was a lot of fun. We got to work on advertising for a handful of different Netflix films. That was like my claim to fame.
Yeah.
For a while there was I worked on advertising for Netflix films.
Yeah.
And it was it was great. We worked with Tanu Muinu, who she is a Russian music video director famous for directing Lil Nas X's what was his song? Starts with an M. Mario, do you know?
The one that got famous?
The one that got famous where he goes to hell and everything.
Yeah.
Let me check.
Yeah.
But,
I know the song you're talking about.
Yeah. So it was around that time that released. And so, she was hot. Everybody wanted to hire her for things. So they hired her to direct some ads for
Montero.
Yes. Yeah.
That one.
And so, that was fun.
Yeah, that's pretty good. Yeah.
And I got to be on set and everything. Didn't really do much while I was there. I was supposed to direct the photography, and I knew nothing about photography, but I didn't want to say that.
Yeah.
And the photos turned out pretty terrible. Not gonna lie.
Really?
Yeah, they're not great.
Oh my goodness. So far, there's a pattern. I feel like people are gonna be like, "Why'd you get this guy?" You're like, "I did this, and it wasn't that great. I did this, and it wasn't great." All right, when is it gonna get good?
Yeah. So I kept working as an art director for 2 different agencies at the time. And I don't know. I think I just realized like, oh, I'm not an art director. Like this actually really isn't my skill set. Like I got to do some cool stuff because the first creative director I worked with, he had a lot of the same skill sets that I did, so he just liked working with me. But really, art directors are, at least in the agency world, like graphic designers on steroids. Like not only can they design, but they can conceptually visualize a project as well. But I didn't have those design chops, so a lot of spaces I didn't really fit in. And we had there was a recession scare in June of 2022.
Okay.
And anytime, at least from my experience working with agencies, anytime there's some kind of like financial thing going on in the economy, like agencies freak out and they fire people and whatnot. And so I got let go of the freelance gigs.
Even though there was no recession.
There was no recession. It was just a scare.
It
was just a scare. And they went on hiring freezes. They let me go. And actually, I was interviewing for both companies for a full-time position. And I was expecting the salary to be really nice. And they went on hiring freezes, and I never heard from them again.
Look at that. Like, you cannot predict the world, right?
No.
And that is true, you know. And again, nothing wrong with the 9 to 5, but when you are doing a 9 to 5, you're kind of relying on all these things. You're relying on other people. You're relying on the economy, things that you cannot control, or whatever their hiring, you know, practices are, all of that. You're kind of just relying on other people. And that's why I like entrepreneurship. You know, it's not for everyone, but when you are your own boss, you decide when to fire yourself.
Yeah.
You know, nobody else can tell you, you know, you're laid off, right?
Yeah. And now I don't think I could ever go back.
Because you get freedom.
Yeah.
But I'm pretty sure you work more hours now. Because,
I do.
You know, you
Absolutely.
work for yourself.
Probably 60 to 80 hours.
There you go.
A week.
that sounds realistic. Yeah. Because you do have to put in those extra hours that they would be pulling in, you know. But then at the same time, you get more freedom. You get more income, you know.
And I don't feel completely drained all the time.
Yeah.
Sometimes when I don't manage my schedule well, but...
Yeah. So what point do you go, I need to start this production company thing?
So actually, it's not until 2 years later.
Oh, okay.
Around the same time, I got connected to my church, and I just loved it so much. Fell in love with Jesus, and I was volunteering, doing videos for them. And I was like, you know what? I lost all my work. I could do what I'm helping them with. I could do this full time. And so I submitted my resume, and they hired me as their on-staff videographer.
Oh, look at that.
And I did that for 2 years. I loved it at first. I mean, I wouldn't have traded it for anything. And then over time, I realized, okay, there's a cap of what I can do here. And I was like, you know, I think it's time that I go off and try to chase my dreams, whatever that looks like. And I wasn't exactly sure if I was going to start a production company, if I was going to go back to freelancing, or if I was going to try to do the filmmaking dream again. I really didn't know. And ultimately, I decided, you know, I want to get realistic about my goals. I want to get married. I want to have a wife. I want to have children. I want to have a house like Vipul.
No.
And
I don't know if you want a house like Vipul, but yeah.
Winter Park.
Yeah.
And ultimately, I decided, you know, I think doing this video business thing is going to help me achieve those goals and to have eventually to have stability. Not that I have some stability right now, but obviously I'm still pretty new into it. So yeah, so then Dreamers Only Media was born. Dreamers Only Media LLC.
Look at that.
I got my
official.
Yeah, I got my LLC in May of 2024. We're in 2025, right?
Yeah.
May 22nd, 2024 is when I officially filed for it. I was working on some stuff before that.
So how do you go about so here's the crazy thing, you know, a lot you know, you start a company, right? A lot of people get there. The biggest thing is, and the most important thing, how do you find customers? How do you find clients?
Great
so what
question.
did you do to actually start making money?
Nothing.
Oh, you didn't do anything?
No, because the Lord is gracious. And honestly, so far, all of my clients have come through church.
Okay.
And like, church is amazing for community, and there's a lot of different business owners in there. But actually, one of my coworkers that I had worked with, she has now become a client.
Look at that.
Yeah. And so she was my connection into the public university that I'm working with at the moment. And she kind of acts as like the executive producer over all of our projects. And yeah, it's been wonderful. And I would say they're one of my two main clients, and then I work with, you know, small businesses here and there when I can.
So you're telling me you've been lucky enough to not have to go hunt for any clients that have just come to you. And that's the power of networking. You know, I want people to know it's not just has to be, obviously you should network with other video people.
Yeah.
clearly. But the real money, again, and this is to make money as a production company, does not come from other video people. It comes from end clients, and then you got to look around you, find resources everywhere, whether that's church, whether that's
Yeah.
where you worked in the past, or your friends. You got to reach out to everyone and tell them what you do, because you're right. You never know where your lead is coming from.
It's
Yeah.
great that you say that because she actually didn't ask me. I texted her not expecting anything.
Yeah.
She's a good friend as well.
Yeah.
So I texted her, I said, hey, you guys need any video work? That's all I said.
Yeah.
And she was like, I don't think so.
Okay.
And then maybe a week later, she goes, actually.
Yeah. We can use one, right? Yeah.
Actually. And so I had some conversations with her and with her people, her team, and they actually needed a lot of videos.
Look at that.
And what had actually happened, and I know you're big on this, was they had been working with previous videographers who did not treat them well, did not give them great products. And so they had put the idea of video in the back of their mind, like, we're never doing videos again because we've only had terrible experiences. But of course, with any kind of business, the need for video is always going to come up. So inevitably, just the timing worked out. I was like, we don't want to do videos, but we have to do a video for this. So we need somebody to do it. And so they gave me a call, and they were a little hesitant about it because, they hadn't had great experiences in the past. But what I learned from you was that the client experience is key.
It's very key.
Vipul, that phrase, whatever you said to me was playing in my mind the whole time. Like, how can I make this experience great for them? Not even knowing that they had poor experiences in the past. And so every time that I've done a project for them or someone, within their department that needs video work, they always come back and say, hey, you treated us so well. You made us either feel like celebrities or just felt welcomed or made the space peaceful for us, or the people that you hired were so friendly to us and accommodating. And that was all that I learned from you, like, really early on.
Well, I'm so glad. Thank you. Even if I can help a little bit, it makes me feel good.
Yeah.
Because my entire thing is, and again, it comes from a good place. It comes from not just, and you know this, we talked about this, but like from a place of just, be fake or whatever. Like it comes from genuinely treating people how you want to be treated.
Right.
My thing is, if I go in a business and they don't treat me right, I don't want to shop there. I don't want to buy whatever they're selling, so I just walk out, right? And obviously I know there's people who'll fight. They'll, you know what I mean, like, or argue, like customers, right, or whatever. But the thing is, you can just look around you, see where you went and they treated you well and you went back, right, or you spread that message on social media or whatever, and then the reverse. And people are more proactive about it. If you weren't treated right, they'll go blast everywhere and tell all their friends, yeah, do not go there or do not talk to them. So when I started the business, it was a very easy concept for me. And maybe because I've only had like 2 companies I've ever worked for, just so you know. And my first company I worked for Disney. And it may be that my initial training ever in the world of having a job or whatever was just you treat people right, because that's what Disney teaches you, right?
Yeah.
The Disney, what do you call, mind virus that they put in you, like, no, you say yes, and like you help people, you help them, in the Disney world, whatever, do whatever. So even when I would talk to, and I'm talking, this is like a 19-year-old me, at people guests at Disney World, I'd be just nice to them. Like if you see a lost kid, help them. The basic things. You see trash, you pick up. So, and maybe I'll give them a little bit of credit. But ultimately, when I started the company, I was just like, I'm going to treat people how I want to be treated. It was very simple. And it's not always great, because I'll be real. Sometimes I want to be treated as be told the truth. And a lot of people don't like being told the truth. So there is a balance. I'm saying it's not always perfect, because I don't want to go around the bush to get to where it is. Sometimes the answer is no.
Right.
You know what I mean? So what I'm saying is, but I treat people how I want to be treated. Even if it's bad news, I wouldn't be just given. And I don't want to be not given it, or given in a roundabout way that just annoys the crap out of me. Right. So again, I treat people how I want to be treated, and that makes life so much easier. But I also find that's how you get repeat business, because every single time they say, "Oh, you made us feel like a celebrity," or "You made us feel good," and then the product was great, and they just want to keep bringing you over and over and over again, and you help them, they help you, everyone wins type of thing. But like I said, now there's the slight negative side of it. Coming back to it is just that sometimes I've had where, usually I try to accommodate. They'll ask for something. I'm like, let me see. Oh yeah, okay, we can figure it out, right? At the end of the day, I'm the producer. I can figure out how to make this happen. Usually, what the requests are. These are simple things, like can we not have this thing, or can we put up this prop here, or like simple things, or we really like this room instead of this room, even though it may not be the most cinematic, so we can figure out how to move things there, or whatever. I always take their suggestions. You know what I mean? It's my job, and to figure out now how to make it look cinematic is on me. But then sometimes they'll request, oh, yeah, can we do 5 other interviews today at the same time? No.
Yeah.
It's one thing. I could accommodate maybe one more, but, we have a tight schedule. Right. Like, no, we're going to have to come back the next time. We don't have timeline for that. That's what it is, I'm saying. Whether it's negative or not, you're being upfront, you're being honest. I think it's okay to be real with people too,
right? And
not then because you could do it too big. Like, yeah, let me try and fit it, but you can't fit that many interviews.
Yeah, and ultimately you're gonna lose money.
Yeah, that too. And but also it's like you can't if you have a day planned out. A little bit deviation is okay because it's corporate radio, but a lot is not okay. No. Or them adding a whole production day is not okay. That's when I just simply go, yeah, obviously, let's add another production day. Let me send you an invoice.
Right.
It's very clear. Like it is what it is. So anyway, coming back to it, I'm so glad I was able to have that conversation with you, and it helped a little bit.
Can I tell you something else that you helped me with in the same realm? I think you mentioned it at the videographer meetup, the importance of hair and makeup and how that makes the client feel good. And so right before this first project that I did with them, and everything was riding on this project because whatever their experience would be with this would determine our relationship thereafter. And I was meeting with my DP, and I had not budgeted for hair and makeup, partly because I only had 50% to work with.
Exactly. Sound and hair makeup cut the first thing, and those to me are very valuable. But but you're not the only one. I'm just saying. I've
learned the sound thing recently as well. And his wife actually does hair and makeup for film, video. And those your words again, they ring in my mind. I'm literally walking out his door and I'm like, you know what? Let me just see if she's available. And I was gonna spend the rest of the money that I did have on another camera operator, but I opted with my DP's actually suggestion. He said, I don't mind having one less camera operator if you want to hire my wife to do hair and makeup. And I think that actually made the whole experience for the client. Like I would say 80% of their great experience was the hair and makeup. Just the fact that they had it and that they were able to walk onto the set feeling confident that they looked good was everything to them, and something that they had never experienced before. And the reason I say that is because afterwards they're like, we need you to have that every single shoot we do. Like, I don't care what we do. Yeah. There needs to be hair and makeup.
Exactly. See, once they experience it, they're never going back. It's just, look, the world that we live in, productions are getting smaller, budgets are getting smaller. And what usually ends up happening, especially clients who don't understand the value of it, they always cut. This I've learned there's a pattern to it. Cut hair and makeup. Yeah. Cut sound. You guys do the sound. This is how it happens. And 50% of the video is sound. It needs to sound really high quality. And so if you cut 50% of the video, and not that we can't do. I mean, there's tools now for cinematographer. I mean, look at my audio kit, but I'm saying we can definitely do audio. It's just having somebody dedicated in that 50% is really important. And then the second thing is hair and makeup. Not only it gives people confidence that we're filming, and but it also makes them actually look good on camera. Yeah, it makes our job, as directors and cinematographers, a lot easier when makeup is helping them look better, because that's what they want. People want to look their best. And a lot of time doing corporate commercial video, they're also our clients who are paying our bills. So if you make them, or sometimes their clients, because it could be, like you said, I don't know, a marketing manager. So their clients would be like their CEOs or their customers that we're doing testimonials for, making them feel great is also part of
Mhm.
client experience.
And the thing is, when they watch the videos, they're not paying attention to the lighting or the motion graphics or the cinematography. They're looking at themselves.
yeah, yeah, they're more interested in that. Yeah,
Yeah, they're like, how do I look? How do I sound? How am I coming off? And if they love that, then you're
yeah.
gold.
It makes it everything so worthwhile because, I don't know. Like I said, I always so the way I do my proposals is I do a proposal, but the only constant thing is always there. Hair and makeup, highly recommended. It's optional, but I'm like optional, but highly recommended. And same thing with sound.
Yeah.
Sound guy, highly recommended. Optional, but because I want them to check those boxes because,
Right.
and like I say, it's not even like as a company I'm taking that much profit or anything from that. Because once you add kit fees and day rates, it's like a decent number. So I'm happy to pass majority of that to these people because they're gonna make my video look better,
Yeah.
and they're gonna get me more, repeat business. So
What's your reasoning for even including it as an option instead of just building the price into your package anyway?
So very good question. Is because most things I'm doing are corporate, and most corporate people don't want to pay for that. They're just
Okay.
when you're going with an existing client, slightly different because then I don't even do
Yeah.
any breakdown. Right, just here's the price.
Right.
Let's do it.
Right.
I'm not bidding against someone. But when you have a new client come in, they're generally talking to 2-3 people. Let's be real. That's just how it is. So I don't want my number to look higher just because I have hair and makeup in it.
Oh, okay.
That's the unfortunate part because most
Yeah.
99.9% of any other video people are not adding that.
Right.
Especially I'm saying under 10K budget.
Right.
Sorry, that's just not a thing. So usually it's gonna be like, we're gonna give you extra camera or whatever, right? You know what I mean? That's where people lead to. So my entire thing is, hey, this is the project, but these are the 2 additional things that I think we needed.
Yeah.
But if they don't, to be real, I can do it without it. Obviously, corporate video. And it's not like, by the way, that's where it separates me. It doesn't mean we don't do high quality sound. My sound package is probably better than 99% sound people locally. Like it's gonna be Shep sound, really high quality, recording 32-bit directly on the microphone, and we still have mattifying powders and everything that we're gonna apply on them. So to be honest, they're still getting good service.
Yeah.
It's just obviously I'm not a makeup artist. We're not gonna like sit there and put makeup on them, but we can at least make sure there's no shine. We can make sure that that they sound really good with the best mic possible. So obviously, you know what I mean? Like even at that price, I'm gonna do that. But it's a lot easier when I have a dedicated audio person because I have people that I can bring in. They know how to operate my kit. It makes life easier. It actually is very cost effective to get a sound guy through me because I already have better sound equipment than most sound people. I just need a dedicated person on it because what happens is if one person is doing 2 tasks, your attention's divided.
Yes.
And you don't want that. And again, if the budget isn't there, obviously we'll do it. I can do it. Mario's done it for me. But if the budget is there, highly recommend one person just focus on sound, one person, on camera or whatever. And again, we're talking lower budget projects, obviously. And then same thing with hair and makeup. Somebody's there, dedicated. Because, they like we're artists. I can look at a skin tone. I can decide lighting, how it needs to be, whatever. Same thing with a makeup artist. They see a person's skin tone. They see what they need to do. What I'm saying is they're the experts, how to make them look best.
Yeah.
And especially the hair and makeup artist who understand video. Because there's a regular hair and makeup artist, but then there's the person who understands video. Because a lot of times the makeup doesn't look the best in person, the one that looks best on camera. It's also like the people who understands a little bit of what looks good on camera.
Right.
Because then they know how to apply it or whatever. And that's even better. Because sometimes I've had where they'll go get hair and makeup done themselves and then they don't look the best.
Especially when they use the highlighter and
stuff
they
that's
look wet. They look sweaty and it's like, oh, you used the wrong products.
Yeah, because this is designed for real events or whatever,
Yeah.
and we're not doing that. We need to look nice on camera.
Right.
So, and that's why you want somebody who understands
Exactly.
what makeup to use for camera and each skin tone and blah blah blah. You get the point. They're experts. Just hire them.
Right.
Let the makeup artists do their thing. But most projects, especially locally, I'm talking about, they're sub, 10, 15K. Hair makeup artist is unfortunately not in the budget. Especially, I'm trying to do multicam. So by the time you account for cameras, editing, post, pre-production, the budget is gone.
Yeah.
So, but anytime I can, that's why I always add that as an option. Like, hey, add this. Because then I know for a fact that we can have it. But on bigger projects, absolutely, yeah. Anything more than 20K a day or whatever, yeah, absolutely. That's not even a option at that point. But those projects are very different. How you bid for them, right? So
Right.
so those ones, I generally include it because they understand that's part of what's needed. If that
Right.
makes sense.
That makes sense. And yeah, that's kind of how I've done it, but I wanted to get your reasoning on why you do it.
Yeah, and it's okay. Again, if at the end of the day, it's just how it works. I have clients. I've talked about this where I call like they call me or whatever. They say we need a video. Here's the budget. End of story. Done. It's so simple, like the conversation, because you have that relationship.
Right.
Or sometimes they'll explain to me like, "Hey, this is what we want to do. What do you think it'd be?" Even if we worked a few times. Well, I'm like, you tell me. We did this video, this range. We did this video. Where are we heading,
Right.
right?
Yep.
And then they can give you an idea. Sometimes the conversations are usually very short, easy, to the point. They know what you produce. You're not selling anything. You're trying to just do the most for them, right?
Yeah.
In that budget. Versus new clients is very different. That's where I'm like spending a lot of time. Like, so what are you looking for? What have you done? Let me see some reference videos. Let me understand what you want before I give you a price point.
Right.
Because I have no idea what they're wanting, and like you said, they could easily call a student because they don't know, right? If
That's
anyone
good.
can
I
start,
haven't thought about that, having them send you reference videos.
yeah, because it just helps,
Yeah.
to know because
And honestly, that'll probably help you charge
Yeah.
more.
Yeah, no, because
You
if they
want
send me,
this?
I've had that happen where somebody, like, for example, okay, I'll tell you a real world example. Somebody wanted animated videos. So we're
Yeah.
starting a course. We need animated videos. Like, absolutely. We got great animators here. And then I looked at and I was like, send me a reference video if you have one, or
Mhm.
inspiration, something. They sent me a video. And I was like, what's your budget again?
Yeah.
And they were like 500 a video. And I'm like, yeah, you're not getting that.
Yeah.
You're not even getting remotely close to
No.
that. And then I had to real get with them. I'm
You're
like,
gonna
hey,
get
why do you
some
even want animated
Still
video?
PNGs on a keyframe.
Yeah, I'm like, no, but then that's where you can drill down. If you want to help them, I was like, why do you even want animated videos? Because you're telling me you want to make a course, right? You're the expert, right, about whatever the subject is. And why aren't you going to be on camera talking about it? Why do you want animated video course? I didn't understand that. I was like, I get simplifying complicated
Right.
systems through animation. That I get. But why aren't you the one speaking on camera? I never understood that, right?
Yeah.
Initially. So like, yeah, it should be me. I was like, exactly. Let's do that. And then we have the budget for that. We
Right.
combine all that. Let's do that first because you can actually go to market with the course and we can come back and add the animations later when you
Right.
actually start making some revenue. So it could be things like that, figuring it out with them.
That's something I'm still working on, is having the confidence to tell the client what they need.
Yeah.
Because mostly I've been working now is like they tell me what they
Yeah.
want. For the most part, I give it to them. I do offer my advice here
Yeah.
and there, but I really do need to kind of help them be more strategic and be like,
Mhm.
no, this will actually help you
Yeah.
more if you
And
listen to
it's
me.
okay because I have some clients where they have their own marketing teams, right?
Yeah.
So I can't really go
Right.
and tell them what they want, but here's how I do it. So they'll come to me and they'll say, okay, we need this, right? Like, we need you to make this for us or give us this footage or whatever. And I'll handle it. That's fine. It's part of business. But then every time I'm there, I'll throw a little idea. Hey, how about we do this? Have you thought about this for the next time? And it doesn't happen every second. Like I say it and they're like, let's sign the
Yeah.
contract.
That's kind of
But
how it's been. Yeah.
3
You
to
just-
6
you
months
just-
later,
Yep.
they go, you
Drop
know
the
what?
little
We
hints.
really want to do what you talked about. Because it's not like you're just trying to, again, if you come from the right intention, I feel like most people will see that because you're genuinely trying to help their business. It just may not be in their mind. Now you've
Right.
thrown that, what do you call that bug, right? Like that for them to keep thinking about it. And then they go maybe a month later, it could be 3 months later, it could be 6 months later. But I usually get that call where they're like, "Oh, we were thinking about doing this," and sometimes they would present it as their idea too. So crazy. I've had that happen. Sometimes they'll say, "Oh, we like what you said. Let's do that now." And I'm like, "Awesome, let's do it." But sometimes they'll say, "Hey, we just had a marketing meeting and we thought we would do this type of video. What do you think?" And I'm like, absolutely, you guys are geniuses.
Yeah.
Let's do this. And I'm like, yeah, I said that to you 6 months ago.
Right.
But again, it's not about ego. It's about like, hey, we finally got what they need. But that's why my favorite ones are where they don't have these huge marketing departments. We can work directly with either the marketing manager, CEO, and get things done. Like the ball's rolling so fast. I don't know, makes life easier for us.
Yeah. I have a question for you.
Okay.
So
Ready.
I feel that I've reached a crossroads in my business, and I may not have.
Yeah.
It might just be what I'm perceiving. But so obviously there are clients who have larger budgets
Mm-hmm.
and clients who have smaller budgets. And I have been hustling
Mm-hmm.
because I'm trying to do all this great work for the larger budget clients while trying to squeeze in the smaller budget projects in between. And what I've noticed is that not that the overall work for the larger projects is sacrificed, but I know that it could be better if my time wasn't so divided.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, um, you're losing out on those clients that you know are going to keep coming back.
Yeah.
And you never know if you could lose a client in the future. So, could you tell me about what was your experience navigating that transition yourself? And then do you still navigate that? Is that still something you...
Yes, absolutely. I mean, that's part of being a business owner,
Yeah.
right? Being strategic. Now, yes, here's the right answer. I'll give you very quick,
Okay.
then I'll tell you
Yeah.
the real answer. So the right answer is yes, you niche down as much as you can. Like I help businesses with this many employees in this industry. Like I help, I don't know, bodybuilders who go in competition and and win prizes. I'm just saying that is the most successful agencies. Like I help lawyers who
Right.
have 10 to 15 attorneys on staff, or I help law offices that have over 100 teams. We help large law firms with over 100
Right.
attorneys on staff. What I'm saying is the best way to succeed in what we do, I'm talking as an agency owner, as a production company owner, is to quite literally niche down into something really specific and become the expert on that in the whole country,
Right.
right? That's the right way to approach it. Now, let me tell you what I do. I would get bored. I've said this, bro.
Yeah.
I would get bored out of
Yeah.
mind. If I was just working with attorneys all day or doctors all day or dentists all day, whatever I'm saying, I would lose my mind because,
Yeah.
then you're kind of get repetitive. And I'm sure there's some projects that are different, but at the end of the day, if you've mastered this one industry and this one size of that industry, then to me that's boring. As a business, that makes sense.
Yeah.
So that would be the ideal thing. You sit down and say, who do we want to actually target, right? And that doesn't mean you don't take other projects for now until you become the number one, but you present yourself only as that. Like I only help universities, or public universities of this size or whatever that is.
Right.
You need to have, and this is the correct business advice I'm saying, you need to be very specific, very niche down to who you help, how you help, and why you help, right?
Right.
But coming back to reality, I do this because I love this, not because I want to make just money. I can go in finance. I can do a lot of things if I just wanted money. So I could not niche down this much because I would lose my mind. So I decided very early on that yes, it's not the best business decision, but I'm just going to call myself a video agency or a video production business for brands and businesses. That's my niche, which is, sure, I don't help you personal side, but I help your businesses. Now it's very broad. I guess it's a niche, but it's not a niche. And then we prefer to do corporate commercial filmmaking, maybe corporate docs. That's what Bindra does. Now, in one way it's niche, but in a way it's very broad. And the reason is I love being able to go one day and work with this industry. Like I'm working with a doctor's office. Now I'm working with a law office. Now I'm working with a big brand. And, I'm working with a car company here. I'm working with solar company here, right? The industries change. I'm doing event one day. I'm doing live streaming the other day. And then I'm directing a big commercial the next day. I hope that makes sense. To me, that's fun.
Yeah, it does.
And that keeps the life exciting and very interesting. Now, so I could never niche down. And that's why I know I have a ceiling because I can only do so much work and so much marketing as a broad company. But that's what I enjoy. And that's what I like. So coming back to your answer, it's like you have to decide. You have to sit down and say, do I want to take on these bigger projects? Does that make me happier? Or do helping these small clients help make me better? And then you prioritize that.
Right.
I don't think you should at this stage just not take anything. You should take everything because that's what new companies are. Again, don't take obviously bad projects. I'm saying take all the good ones, whether small or large budget. But you have to prioritize what is best for you and what you enjoy the most, right? And sometimes that is the smaller projects, like I said. And then once you pick that, then that will be like, hey, this is number one. And if you can fit these other in the schedule, then you do, absolutely. And then the other side is, do not forget the power of white labeling or bringing other people in. As see, it's different when you're a DP, you're a freelancer, then you are, you know, the work. So you want to do everything, right? And that's how you make money. You're like, okay, I'm booked this day here, this day there. But when you're a production company owner, it's more than you.
Yeah.
And a lot of new company owners don't realize that. They're like, I have to be on every set, I have to do every pre-production, I have to do every post-production. But that's not the truth. The truth is you will not grow at all or very slowly if you are everything.
Right.
So the best thing I did was to let go. So first thing was, post production, I gotta let go.
I'm just starting to hire
initially I was
editors.
like, I did some, then then it was all, and then it's like same thing. Yeah, sometimes like I said, I love being the director, producer, DP, but sometimes projects I'm like, I can't be a DP, or so I bring in other people to DP, or I need more camera ups, or I need somebody here, or I need somebody to be a project manager on this. Can you produce this? What I'm saying is, you never know. Or bringing other owner operators in different states if it's a project that I'm like, I need to shoot in 5 states for this project, right? Which ones am I gonna fly to? Oh, I can touch these 2, and then these 3 I can hire somebody local to do it. I hope
Yeah.
that makes sense. Or
Oh, it makes
send.
sense.
Sometimes it's not even hiring local. Send my friend, like as somebody I trust. They'll get the vision right. So if you have the budget, what I'm saying is, you don't have to do all 5. Like first thought is like, how do I make it to all 5, or how do I do this on my own? And I think that's just the nature of what we do. You just start to calculate, and I'm like, no, you have to slow down and go, what's the best where you can use your time most efficiently? Because you could be using that time to do one of these maybe smaller ones, or focus on a bigger one, or whatever, where somebody else could be getting this for you. So biggest thing is to start, as you start to grow, is to just let people come in and help you basically as needed.
I feel very similar to how you approach that. I think you say your passion is for video. I think my passion is for storytelling, but I do that through the medium of video and filmmaking. Though where my mind goes when you talk about that is, well, why don't I niche down, make a bunch more money, hire people to run the business for me, and then I go do whatever my passions are over here with the money that I'm now making.
I mean, you could, but then the thing is, the business is probably going to run to the ground if you don't run it daily.
Yeah.
The problem is you're not selling a product. Now, you could do that. A lot of people do that. You can open a coffee shop, train a couple of baristas, and kind of hire a manager and go away is what I'm saying. You don't need to. Usually, I'm saying, again, I'm not business advice. I don't run coffee shops. But I'm saying that type of business, or you make a product, you make headphones. Put them on shelves, find partners. Then you don't have to like every day run it. You have time for your passions. But that's why I tell, with video business, you hopefully are passionate about it, because most agencies, you have to run the agency because you are the agency, right? Now, yes, can you bring in a creative director? Can you bring in a staff? Can you automate the whole thing? Absolutely. But then at that point, you need millions of dollars. And you need a huge staff, and you need people who are actually passionate.
Right.
All doable, but it's a lot easier than for those people to start an agency.
Right.
Because if, let's say, you have a head, you would have to find somebody who's really motivated like you to grow the agency, to have it running. But then they have the same time have the personality who doesn't want to run their own agency then.
Yeah.
Because why are they doing it
really
for you?
great
Now,
advice.
yes, there
Makes
are
a lot of
some people
sense.
like that, but those are very rare to find. So the hardest part would be finding someone who run it like you would passionately. But so coming back, actually, that's a great thing you bring up. So what is your passion? What would you rather be doing if not this?
You know what? I thought I had it figured out, and I've gotten to the place where I actually don't know anymore. I don't know anymore. Like I told you, I do love storytelling. And I think there's a lot of ways that you can do that. So I don't know. I'm refinding what that is.
So I think that's a very good thing, and to say it's okay to not know.
Yeah.
And maybe that's where you need to go next, is just keep doing what you're doing until you figure it
Right.
out. And when you do, that's when that decision needs to be made. Like, but video business, I'm saying, is one of the rare ones where it's hard to run it without you. It can be done. I'm not saying it can be done, but typically I'm saying it's a hands-on business, right?
Right.
You can automate each project. Like you can obviously call me and other people like me. Like I help a lot of people. Like the one we did in Chicago, it was my friend, right? He's like, hey, I need you to come DP for this, me.
Right.
And I helped him like, hey, hire this person. We need this person. We need this. We need hair and makeup or whatever, right? So there's people I'm saying who can come help you. And I wore his shirt even though I helped him, kind of put this together. And I don't want to discount what he did. He did obviously found the project, he directed the whole thing, whatever. But I'm saying it's a collaboration, right? You bring the people. Or I helped Adam, who's on the podcast. He's like, I need this shoot on a farm done, and that's going with him. But then he sent me to DC last year that I talked about on the podcast with him because he wanted this doc shot, but he couldn't fly. So I went there and I helped him remote produce. Like I brought him in as a remote producer and I did the whole thing. And then I've done shoots for him where he's not there at all. So the point I'm trying to make is that's when you call your friends. Now, would I do that for just anyone? No. Obviously, my primary income comes from me working directly with end clients. But I'm happy to have friends. I'm saying be their DP. I'm the owner operator, right? They hire like I do other states. So what I'm saying is there's ways to take on more than what you can handle. Because that's what the agency is, right? It has to be bigger than you. And I like to have full oversight. So I make sure to manage each project, whether small or big. But I don't personally go to every project, I'll sometimes, send someone or hire someone, especially on photography. Like we also do photo technically. Like say I don't do photo, but I have enough photographers on demand that somebody wants photo that I'm just like, hey, you want to do this?
Yeah. I've been starting to do that too.
Exactly. And I'm helping other friends make more money. It's perfect for me. My clients love it because coming from me, they don't want to have different vendors for that. The point I'm trying to make is at the end of the day, it has, and again, it doesn't have to be, but usually I'm saying a video production company is bigger than a freelancer. And the best way to manage that is by bringing help. Because as a one person, it's not going to be the best agency because you can only do so much, right? You're one human. And then B, you have to have help, man. That's just how life is. We can't do this alone. I don't know. I can't. I mean, if you can, then you're a superhero. But usually, and that's the hardest thing. At least for me, it is letting go. But when I do, it's like the best thing ever. Like a lot of times, like even when I have Mario on set, like, hey, I need you to just take this camera, like here, take the sound and just operate it.
Yeah.
Now, do I am passionate about it? Do I want to go start setting every little thing in there? Yes. But guess what? I then can't look at the bigger picture. I'm trying to be the DP director here and also the producer. I got to make sure I can look at that bigger picture and then let go because I do trust him and other freelancers that I bring in. And I'm like, then if I hired them, then it's also my job to just step back and let them do their thing.
And that's something that I'm starting to learn now, the importance of systems and processes so that you can step away in confidence that whoever you put over a certain area is going to understand what the standard is that they need to meet and how to go about that if they're unclear.
Yeah, exactly. You want to be very careful with who you hire, because especially when you're not there. The biggest thing can be soft skills, which are not even hard skills. So like somebody could be a great camera operator, but if you step away, you don't want somebody saying something silly in front of your clients. I mean, it's okay to be funny. I'm not saying that, but I'm like something that wouldn't be appropriate.
Right.
Or them talking to your client rudely because they don't know who they are. Right. They could just start talking, be like, what are you doing there? Why are you sitting there? And then next thing you know, they are the ones who hired the whole production crew. You're like, because you are the one who's been in contact. So stuff like that. You want to make sure that you bring in people who are going to represent, like you said, systems and processes, who understand what we're doing there, why we're there, what's the level of professionalism that you're looking for, or whatever. And that doesn't mean a boring set. You got to still have fun and enjoy the set. But I'm saying that you don't want to bring people who are going to ruin your relationships, because that's what the key is for a company to succeed, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I spent about 6 to 8 hours the other day preparing like a document and like a project setup for like the simplest edit. But I was like, you know what? I need to do this in order to get back what I would have done. And I'm like, even though I spent 8 hours for this project and doing this, and now that probably doesn't make sense budget wise, it's important. And if I do it now, I can eventually standardize this across multiple projects and it'll benefit me in the future. We're getting there.
Yeah, and that's very smart, and that's what takes the longest time. Trust me, I've been doing this 6-7 years. I'm still trying to standardize my processes or put some on documents and get it be more efficient or whatever it is. It's a constant thing, right? And that's what makes you a business owner versus a freelancer, right? Being able to build those processes, being able to have consistency, because it shouldn't matter who's coming in your team. They should be able to perform at their best, and they can only when they know what they're doing.
Right.
And that's on you to tell them what they're doing,
Right.
So, and that's why you make more money, because a lot of people got like, I'm a freelancer. I could be a business owner. It's like, yes, as long as you're willing to put in that extra that comes with being a business owner. But
Right.
I mean, to be real, don't be hard on yourself. You've only been doing this a little over a year. You're killing it over there,
Thank
and
you.
you found really good clients. And also, want you to know, that's how it is. Usually, most company business owners, small scale, only have few big clients. And then obviously you'll have smaller clients that come and go or whatever. And then some of them could turn into one of those bigger clients. But it's okay to not have, lots and lots of, I'm saying, big projects every day. I mean, if that happens, it's awesome, but it's not normal also either. So don't be hard on yourself.
Thank you.
I think you should just keep doing what you are doing, which you make great content,
Thank you.
And like I said, treating people nice, treating your clients great. That's what it's about, man. And
Yeah.
having fun. Are you having fun?
I
That's the
am.
key.
I am.
Yeah.
On most projects.
Yeah. So those are the ones you want to eliminate from your life. And I'm not joking.
Yeah.
As a business owner, when you're new, one of the hardest things is to go, I need all this money. I'm living paycheck to paycheck or month to month, like you said. That's when it's scary to say no. But that's literally the best thing you can do sometimes for yourself. Because guess what would do? Let's say you're like, I really need this money, right? Obviously, don't be like where you're gonna start not have food. I'm saying, but let's say you're like, I really need this money, but this project sounds awful. This client feels like not the right fit. I would personally rather say no, and go back to the table. Go, now what, right? And I know it's a pressure, but I work best under pressure. So I would then sit down and be like, okay, now I need the money, but I don't want to work with them. So where do I find the people I want to work with? And to me, that would put the fire under me to go, no, I'm going to get the person, right? Or whatever I need to do.
So how did you get connected with these agencies?
You just work over the years, right? Somebody hires you as a freelancer. So remember, I was a freelancer. So I had a job, but I was a freelancer from 2010 to 2018. So I had 8 years of freelance work. So when I became a production company, I had the simplest thing, write an email. Hey, sign this production company. We're going to have the best of equipment. We're going to have the best of the rates. And, it's me, like, come on, let's work. And then, it takes, obviously, it's not like I sent that email and they were ready to let's go.
And are these local?
No, they're all over the country.
Okay.
I fly everywhere. But I'm saying, even when I started, everyone, and again, I've told the story before, but mainly everyone was like, oh, you can't do that or whatever. And funny enough, my first all clients none of them were old clients. They were brand new clients. I just went out. Okay, I'm a full time company now. I need to get full contracts. So I just went out and I closed contracts, and they were all decent sized contracts. I think like 30-40 grand in the first week or whatever we closed. So
I remember you saying that before.
Exactly. I'm like, it's not that complicated. And then agencies started to come back slowly. I'm saying that was just the introduction, right? Hey, I'm an agency. That doesn't mean, like I said, the next day the phone started ringing. I tell people, like, you have to be realistic about it. But then it was like, hey, by the way, we need this. Or, hey, we really, it's COVID, we need live streaming. And I see you're doing live streaming, and not that many people know what they're doing. It's like, absolutely, let's do live streaming. It's like slowly you build your way in, you build a trust, and they're like, hey, we really want this, but the client only wants to work with us. Would you sign an NDA and, work white label? I'm like, duh, yeah, absolutely. I don't care about credit.
Yeah.
So kind of like that. But so stuff like that. I'm just saying, it's like, it's slowly you build a relationship, and then they realize you can execute. Because to be real, the agency owners are stingy. The truth being, so they'll say, hey, we want you to do this. We'll give you 50 grand. And you go, absolutely. And then you realize, oh, it costs 50 grand. That's why they were so excited to give me 50 grand.
Right.
I got excited because the number was high. And then, you don't make any money, but then guess what? They go, wow, he did it, So, the trust builds.
Right.
And I'm not saying to let people take advantage of you, but I have put myself in crazy situations like that where I took projects where I was like, oh, I see what they meant, why they were so excited to give it to me. Because I've had that happen where, where you go, wow, I'm so lucky, I'm doing so great, and then like, oh, well, the numbers seemed high, but the cost was that much anyway. So then you learn from that. So next time you price better, or you become more efficient, or whatever.
Okay.
And then 7 years later, you're here. And even now, I'm not saying I'm doing something great. All the advantage I have is just I've done this so long that I have enough people calling me. Like you said, from the video production company side, I usually get emails saying, "Hey, we want some video or some project or whatever." So I'm doing that. And then the other side is the freelance side. I still do, where it's like friends like, "Hey, let's do a commercial here," or "I want you to be a DP here. Can you be my gaffer?" Or even sound guy. So those roles, then I can go help other people where they can't. They get the advantage of having access to this $500,000 worth of equipment to be really good deal. And I'm like, hey, I was free those days anyway. My company doesn't shoot every day. So, everyone wins because I'm not doing post. I don't do any post production. I let Julie handle that. And then, so as in like I can go have some easy freelance days where I'm like, oh, I'm happy. Like I shot, I gave you the footage, I'm done. Or I came and I helped your set get, lit your set. And then I'm done. You're telling me that's awesome. Whether that's bringing gear, sometimes it's not even bringing gear. That's just me showing up. And that's the other smaller side of it, right?
Yeah.
And try to find a balance of it.
Yeah. So like I said, I do have connections with some agencies in LA and New York, but my thought is like, one, they could hire somebody locally. And I think two, there's some really great talent in LA and New York that far exceed what I could accomplish. But you're right on the price point. It's like, even if I was traveling, I would find a way to do it for a lower budget. So that's something that I hadn't thought.
But also, see, and that's on you, because right now all I hear is they're more talented. They're in LA. They're in New York. Why wouldn't they hire me? That's just reeks of. And I don't want to put you on the spot, but I'm like, you got to believe in yourself.
Yeah.
You're a talented person with lots of experience, and that's, again, I hate the right. And I know it's kind of can be foolish. You don't want to be overconfident, but you want to be confident. You want to believe in yourself. You have to have that little spark of, I'm the best type of thing. Because if you don't believe in yourself, then who else is going to believe in you? That doesn't mean also I'm saying you're in competition. Like I tell people, there's enough work to go around that we can all have more than enough work without calling each other competitors. It'd be one thing that there was not that much work. There's work.
Yeah.
The only reason you don't have it is because they don't know you, or they don't know you exist, or your quality of work. You just need to let them know about that. Don't worry about what anyone else is doing, right? And my entire thing is, guess what? Your cost of living is not what the cost of living in New York is. Yes, is Orlando expensive? Very. But is it as expensive as Manhattan? No. So you have an advantage. Flights are very cheap. We have direct flights, really cheap flights. And ultimately comes down to is how good of a director producer you are. And do you fit the bill of whatever the project is, and do you have that relationship with them? I would, if I were you, I would reach out to everyone, and I would make it a consistent thing. Obviously, don't spam them. But every couple of months, you want to follow up. You want to share some things with them, ask them about them. And then just continue, like I said, developing those relationships. And it doesn't have to be those. Just continue building relationship. You never know. Like I said, it could be somebody here you hired as a PA. You literally, somebody who's like, hey, I want to learn, man. You're like, sure, come on my set. And you never know, 2 years later, they are marketing manager to some fancy company, and you're getting lots of work. You have no idea what the future holds.
Right.
I try to be nice to everyone because you never know. And again, I'm not saying do it with that intention, but you never know where it comes. But yes, you have to build those relationships. That's what I tell at least people. Like, look at us. I mean, let's be real. You came here for ShareGrid. I didn't have to say yes to that ShareGrid. I've told this before, and again, it's not your fault. You saw things, you rented. But a lot of times when I get a ShareGrid, I genuinely like, oh, ShareGrid, I gotta get these lights out. I gotta, pack them. I gotta inspect them. Then I gotta give it to you. Then I gotta wait the next day. Then I'm gonna re-inspect them, put them back in the van.
I've thought about it multiple times. I'm like,
and then the thing you have to think is, it costs you, I'm pretty sure, way more money, $300-$400, and then ShareGrid, after all the fees and things taken out, insurance taken out, then their cut, I probably got $100. And as running even a video production company for a year.
Time.
How easy is it to make $100 as in like time wise? If I spend that much time finding a client, I could make a lot more than $100. But I still do it because here's the thing: I go to these other cities and I need equipment. And where do I find it?
Right.
Usually ShareGrid. I like getting it from other people. And then rental companies. So I feel like rental companies a standard kit versus with owners, you get what you actually need. Sometimes they'll have accessories or whatever that you actually need, than what a rental house would have. They have a standard package typically. And I'm talking more complicated stuff. Obviously, lights are the easy one. But in general, what I'm saying is, and so I do this because I realize that this is not a huge market and a lot of people need some specific items like a car rig or some weird stands or knuckles or scissor mounts or whatever that most people don't have locally. So I don't mind helping people, but it's at a cost, right? But the advantage is I get to make cool people, like I said, and it's not everyone that comes here and we just instantly connect or whatever. I just trying to help them with no intention. But then you meet people like you. You're like, hey, I'm doing this. By the way, I have this client. And I'm like, oh, awesome, and I love that. We started having instant business chat, and I was like, look, here's the meetup, right? Come to that, and then it's just. You never know. I'm saying something great comes out of that. And funny enough, one of my really good friends was from ShareGrid. He just wanted to rent a mic. And I met him just as a ShareGrid person. He's like, I want to try this mic out. And nobody else has that mic to rent. And I was like, absolutely. Then I was like, oh, I also want a recorder because I don't have a recorder good enough to record. So I purposely added, because a lot of stuff on my ShareGrid just added, because people asked. I was like, okay, let me add the recorder for you. So I rented that to him, and then doing that after like a year, it's like, what do you do again? And then you start talking, you're like, oh, we should have just hired each other or whatever, right? And then now we work a lot together. Yeah. So you never know. I'm saying what comes through, and it could be even ShareGrid, it could be another client, it could be another event, and like I said, now look at us. We're having a conversation here, and that's incredible. I'm just happy to know you. Also, you helped me. If you remember when we did the van shoot initially in January, so I had built this van and I was like, I hate being on camera, but I was like, I want to show it, but I'll show it in a realistic setting. It would be very rarely just me pulling all these carts out. So I'm like, it's going to be in a group setting. So I asked you to come, and you were kind enough to come and be in that video. I really appreciate you putting your time into it. That was such a fun day.
It was very fun. And I did not expect, I don't know if you plan to do 2 cameras or if you were like, well, we just have a second camera, so if somebody wants to pick it up.
Yeah, we didn't plan to it, but you were just ready to just help out,
I fully expected there to be like no B cam footage in the edit, but I saw the edit. I think Mario edited it, right? Yeah. I saw the edit. I was like, okay.
Yeah, no, you helped a lot, and that's what I'm saying. That's what happens when there's no pre-production. Because to be real, I was literally even the day before getting the van ready.
Honest about that.
Yeah, and I was just like, look, I need this. But I honestly need direction here because see, it's the opposite side of things, right? It's easy. Like you tell me, let's make this video. I'm like, awesome, I got it. But there you go. Versus like, I need a video.
I'm the same way with my stuff too.
Yeah, exactly.
I'll hire people to either concept social media stuff for me or take on that.
Yeah, because it's easier, right?
Yeah,
it is. For someone else. So anyway, at least,
and you get the experience on the other side. I think that helps you with your client relationships in the future because now you know what it feels like to be on the other side.
Exactly. And so you guys were awesome. Like I said, you were awesome to come by. Not only did that, you were happy to like pick up a camera. You got some great shots, which Mario used to edit. Also, who was it? Somebody was directing me. I don't know if it was you. It's been a while. But anyway, somebody was. I was like, somebody direct me because I have no idea what I'm doing. I felt, as soon as you put a camera, and that's again learning.
I think Mario was directing you.
Yeah, somebody was like,
between everybody, between. You, me, Emmanuel, also was, I remember...
Quintin was there.
Quintin, Juan.
Yeah.
Juan was there too.
Juan was the one with the camera. Like,
Juan had a camera too. He was awesome. Essentially, again, it was just like people I know. I'm like, hey, who wants to come hang out? And they do a couple of little shoot. And I was amazed by, who was it? Quintin said it. Somebody said to me, it's like, you got a lot of people here. I was like, look, I just put out a thing, and I'm so grateful for everyone who showed up. But I'm just saying, I didn't know if it was gonna have one people or we're gonna have like a group of people. And we had a huge turnout, and I was so happy. This was like, guys, we gotta go have
the
lunch.
video was great.
Yeah, no, video came out amazing, and that
shout
was
out to you, Mario, for the editing.
Yeah, and you and everyone else who came out to help. And like I said, made me feel comfortable because it took me a little bit of effort to, be able to comfortable and talk about what I'm doing, even though it was off the cuff. And that kind of, I think, also sparked the whole YouTube thing that I'm doing, where it was like, let me show you the studio, let me show you the cart, let me show you the audio. Because I genuinely want to share, but I also am not the most comfortable in front of camera, but I think I have to do it enough to get there, right? Because at the end of the day, the way I approach it is like, hey, I've done this a few years now. I stumbled my way through here now. Why can't I help other people not have to do that? If I can save anyone some headaches, not that you need my help, but if I could save you a little bit of time here or there, why not? Why wouldn't I do it? At the end of the day, and you never know. Like I said, you were gonna be making that next commercial. You need a DP. It may come back. Maybe not now. Maybe a few years, or you're making a movie.
That's true. I really do want to get into commercials.
Yeah,
because I feel like you have a lot more, bigger budgets, and you have more say in the storytelling.
It is awesome. I mean, you have to obviously make a pitch deck and all that, The other thing is, again, the way I see it, budgets are shrinking. So you have to be very nimble. Obviously you want bigger budgets, but the sad part is the budgets are shrinking.
Yeah, I saw, I can't remember if it was like a McDonald's commercial or something like that, but it was like 10, 12K for a commercial.
Which is crazy to think about, yeah. I mean, I would say the time of the $1 million commercials is kind of going away. I mean, they're still done for some Super Bowl stuff, but like most productions are like that 100K or less. They're very nimble, and that's what kind of made my company towards, when people are like, what do you, I'm like trying to predict, and again, I don't know if I'm correct or not, but I'm predicting that that's where majority of the shoot's going to be, and I want to be the one who can provide that. I'm like, I want to have the nimble crew, like, hey, if you need grip, lighting, camera, sound in one package, one small van, yes, that's where I fit in. And that's at least where I see it staying is, obviously it's still decent sized budgets. I'm not saying 50 grand is no money, but I don't think 3 years, 4 years down the road, like there'll be tons and tons of $500,000 commercials. There'll be few and far between, most content is going to be done at a more lower price point. So if you're if you're gonna have the ability to basically, I'm saying, eke out every little thing from that 20K commercial, then you're higher chance of being more successful than somebody who's like, oh, 20K is just my director's fee. Sorry, I mean, and then I don't know.
I don't know if that happens too often in Orlando.
Yeah, not in Orlando, no. But major productions are not happening in Orlando. So if you want to do commercial, you better get on a plane. Is what I'm saying. So to me, at least, corporate and commercial filmmaking, I don't look at Orlando as my market. I look at United States as my market, because most of my projects I'm just flying. Most average projects are in Orlando are like 10K or less. I'm not saying I'm doing a 50-60K project right now in Orlando, so it's doable, but I'm saying those are, again, rare. Most of my big projects are where I'm traveling, because the client's like somewhere else, like you said, New York, California, or one of the, or some weird states too, smaller states like you wouldn't think about, because they just,
you're helping me open my mind.
You have to get on a plane.
Possibilities are endless.
You gotta look more outside Orlando. You pick a home base, which is good. Yeah, you're right. Orlando's a small
I love
market.
the idea of just like, emailing past connections I have until one day. And you're right, because there eventually comes up that project that they're like, you know what? I don't feel like there's nobody that I know right now that would happily take this project, but hey, Christopher's been emailing me.
Yeah, and Christopher's like, oh, you're like giving
for this budget that we don't know how it's gonna happen. But.
Yeah, and you already said you know how to make garbage into gold. Yeah. You lean into what makes you awesome. So now also I know. Let me go add in my catalog. If I ever somebody gives me garbage footage, I know who to call to make it.
Yeah. No, I'm taking myself away from post for other people, but I would love to. And
Yeah.
I made really great money as an editor.
Yeah.
That's something that I had to break up with.
Mhm.
Actually, the last editing gig that I did, which was not too long ago, I made $6K for
Mhm.
just like 3 days of editing.
That's not bad actually for an editor. Yeah,
That's really good.
Pretty good. Yeah.
It's really good. And I had to be like, I think that eventually I can make more money as a video business owner if I give up on the editing side. So that was tough.
Yeah.
But
No, I get it.
did it.
And that's one of the things you have to let go. And doesn't mean you can't do your favorite projects, I guess, once in a while, but it just editing takes so much time. That's my thing. If you're trying to run a company, unless you're just running a post-production company, it can be really tough to run a company and edit at the same
Yeah.
time. So before we go, let's talk a little bit about pricing strategies. What as after 1 year, what are you trying to price your projects as? And what's like range? Because I know projects are different.
yeah.
They're small, but what range are you trying to be at? How are you? How are you trying to sell clients on that value? At least.
I'm still figuring all of that out.
Yeah.
Yeah. But the projects that I am enjoying right now are ones where I can have more of a crew,
Okay.
where I can bring on a DP, can bring on an AC, sound, hair and makeup, etc. And so my pricing strategy has become, okay, what do I need in order to fulfill those roles? And then what kind of profit margin do I want to make? Is it 20%? Is it 30%, 40%, 50%? And I'm trying to do that. And so right now that is averaging between 8 to 12K is where that comes out after having that many crew members, post-production, saving enough for myself. I'm only working with a couple of clients right now. I'm not even thinking about how to sell to future clients. So that's something that I've been telling myself this summer. I'm going to take a couple of weeks off and like actually strategize. Okay, what is my offer to a potential client instead of clients just coming to me saying, here's what we need. Like, what can I offer to like a brand new client? That's something that I have not done yet. And I know it's very important.
Yeah.
But we're getting there.
You'll get there. But I mean, you're already killing it, and ever since just even when I met you, you're doing great, and you are obviously doing really great since you started. See, that's the thing about it. You just have to look at the bigger picture and kind of keep fine tuning it until you get better and better and better and better. And that's just like I think with anything, right?
Yeah.
But so far, that's why I wanted you here so people can listen from somebody. You were great at something, but you decided to step away from it to start just something new, and now look, you're finding success here too. And I think that just shows what type of person you are. And as long as I feel like people want to do it, that's the number one thing, the
Right.
want, and then put in the time and the effort and the energy. It's not that hard. It's the whole point of this. It's like it's very doable. It's very 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 achievable. And I like about that is like you didn't even go outside your network. You were already working in the church. You just found connects there, and you were able to find you where you're making a good living. And not only yourself, you're hiring freelancers. So you're contributing to their incomes. And you're making great products. So clients are probably making money from that, a ton of it. So I think everyone wins, right? And then
Yeah. Well, thank you for one, having me,
yeah.
but two, for giving me those information and
Yeah.
insights that are so important and things that you've learned that have made you successful.
Yeah.
And being open and honest with sharing that and not trying to hide it behind
Yeah.
a paywall or
Yeah,
something
no.
like
We
that.
don't sell anything here. That's been my struggle, and I know I've talked about this again. I want to really do like because to me, cinematography is mostly lighting, and a lot of DPs and gaffers don't really understand like deep concepts about lighting. So I want to do a really next level. I'm talking more than basics level of course. And the same thing, I was like, I want to do it for free. But then I was like, oh, but I only want to do it in an intimate setting, less than 10 people. And I'm like, how do I limit it to the people who really want to learn? And then the everyone keeps telling me paywall. And I'm like, but I don't want to charge. And that's why I haven't done it. So I'm like, nobody's winning. See, because I was like, as soon as I put a price on it, then I feel like, if you can't afford it, then you can't come learn. So
I don't think
know.
there's anything wrong with that.
Yeah.
I think the negative connotation with the paywall is often you're not really getting the value that you're paying for with a lot of these things that are being marketed towards us. But obviously with someone like you, you're going to get
Well, but then it has to be somebody who knows me. So how many people may not get that opportunity? So that's why currently, at least, this has been the best format where I'm like, hey, look, we're gonna shoot the shit. We're just having fun, and but there's so much golden nuggets that people can get out of this conversation. I mean, already just you and me just talking,
Right.
how much information was in there, and what not to do, what to do, and how to succeed. Because to be honest, like I said, you have huge value to provide to these people because, like, you did it. You're already doing it, and you're kind of successful, and you're only gonna keep getting successful with what you're doing. And this has been awesome. It's always a pleasure talking to you.
Yeah, man.
So thanks for
having
coming.
me. This has been so good. I've learned so much, and hopefully, something I shared will help somebody.
We created something people can play in the background.
I've been all over, not only all over the country. I've lived in LA, New York, Florida, Orlando, but I've been in a bunch of different parts of the industry and kind of done a full circle, and then now doing it myself. And I'm really enjoying it.
Can't wait to catch up with you in a season or two and see where you are then, whether
Yes,
you
sir.
stick with this or you move to something different, and maybe one day, direct a movie like you want to. You never know, right?
I think it's going to come.
Yeah, absolutely. It's definitely doable. Or at least help me on my movie.
Exactly.
I
would love to.
Exactly. Yeah, because I think you would make, like I said, a great person to have on set.
Yeah.
Thank you, Mario, like always, for making this happen.
Thank you, guys.
Yeah, look, we woke him
Until
up.
next week.
I'm just joking. See you next week. Thank you again, Christopher. It was a pleasure. And until next episode, see you again. It's been Studio B Sessions with me, Bindra.